On the election day and directly after, we observed voting in 329 polling stations across the country and more than 25 counting centers. A largely violence-free electoral process was well managed by the election administration. Secondly, a peaceful campaign on the ground contrasted with divisive rhetoric, hate speech, and disinformation in traditional and social media. Thirdly, the absence of a campaign finance law and biased coverage of the election by both private and state media contributed to an uneven playing field. The EU observers reported positively on the voting process across the country. All electoral materials were available and polling officials performed well. However, in several polling stations, the position of the voting screen did not sufficiently protect the secrecy of the vote. Our observers assessed counting as well organized, transparent, and professional. Fundamental rights and freedoms are largely protected, but some restrictions in national law exceed the country's related international obligations. Limitations on campaign processions and on the dissemination of political messages during campaign periods conflict with the constitutional guarantees. The legal framework for women's political participation in elections is lacking. However, some progress has been made on inclusivity for women in local government representation. The Election Commission's guidelines for the media and code of conduct for parties and candidates are positive elements in the legal framework, though they are largely voluntary in nature. Persistent parliamentary inaction left the constitutional powers of the Election Commission inadequately defined in law and limited its capacity to enforce its mandate to ensure a level playing field to all the candidates. There is no legal provisions for national and international election observation. Overall, the Election Commission has carried out its function in a credible and professional manner. However, the Commission could have been more proactive and broader reaching on the crucial issue of explaining the marking of the voting preferences. Since the registration system does not foresee a revision period before an election, some 180,000 to 200,000 voters who turned 18 in the interim were disenfranchised for the 2019 election. Campaigning on the ground was peaceful and calm, despite a small number of violent incidents and reported threats. National security was a prominent theme, with strong nationalist rhetoric often used. This also brought religious and ethnic rifts to the fore. We also observed that there were allegations of misuse of state resources. Recruitment to public service jobs was the most commonly reported abuse. Campaigning by public officials was also observed. Political party and campaign financing remain unregulated, depriving the election of an important element of transparency. Secondly, with no limits on campaign advertising spending, coverage in traditional and online media was highly monetized. And thirdly, the two leading candidates made extensive use of traditional media with a heavy presence in paid advertising in television and printing media. Among the social media platforms, Facebook was the prime contributor to the crafting of political narratives in the public space and to setting the electoral agenda. However, Facebook did not take appropriate measures to ensure adherence to campaign silence rules.